Hi, Bill O'Reilly here. If you are like me, you're worried about the future of America. We have a new president who's promising new tax hikes and business strangling regulations in some cases. We just added more to the U.S. debt than during the Civil War. Can you believe that? World War I, World War II, and Vietnam combined. Millions of Americans are still out of work, and thousands of businesses, big and small, have been lost. So it's not hard to be pessimistic. That's why I was so blown away by something I just heard a few days ago. It was a statement made by someone I trust. He's a researcher, futurist, investment analyst, and former portfolio manager. Now, this guy has called so many of the big moments over the last 2 decades, it's frightening. The dot-com collapse, the rise of digital and medical technology, the housing crisis, and the 10-year bull market that followed. He nailed all of those. And along the way, he's helped me make a lot of money. He's someone that I turn to first whenever I'm uncertain about the financial future. I've had him on The Factor as well as the No Spin News. And off camera, I recently asked him what's ahead for investors in the markets. I asked him if stocks were likely to drop under President Biden. I wondered if we were in real trouble because of all the debt and the fallout from the pandemic. I figured he might recommend taking cover, going to cash, maybe buying gold or recession-resistant stocks. But that's not what he told me. Instead, he said something that caught me completely off guard. He said a series of events is coming that will lead to more wealth creation in the next 2 years than over the past 2 decades combined. And he said the trend will be virtually unstoppable. Now, my first thought was, you've got to be nuts. But remember, this guy has been remarkably accurate. His advice has done very well for me. So well that I've actually paid for his insights and advice for the past 18 years. He's made so many right calls through the Bush, Obama, and Trump presidencies that it's amazing. And this guy has been practically psychic at identifying huge new stock trends. He bought Apple at a split-adjusted 18 cents in 1996, when nobody else realized Steve Jobs would return it to its former glory. He invested in Netflix at a split-adjusted $1.62 in 2005, back when the idea of streaming movies online was a pipe dream. And he bought Amazon at $35 that same year, long before the stock went to more than $3,000. And Jeff Bezos became the richest man in the world. This man saw the innovation, he invested in it early, and he still holds every share. Now, based on that track record, I want to give him a chance to see if he can prove to me and to you that the next 2 years are going to deliver an all-time wealth-building opportunity. And because this is a big moment in American history, I want you to pay close attention. I also want you to have all the facts so you can make sure you end up in a good position in the years to come. With that, I want to bring in my special guest, New York Times best-selling financial author, Alexander Green. Here he comes. Hey, Alex, how you doing?
Yeah, great to be here,
nice
Bill.
to see you. So I just gave you a really big introduction.
You sure did. I appreciate that.
But this won't be a walk in the park for you, because I want to see how you can back up your rather dramatic predictions. A lot of people, myself included, are really worried about the future of this country. For you to say that more wealth will be generated in the next 2 years than in the past 2 decades combined just doesn't seem possible. It almost sounds crazy. So, how can you make a prediction like this? I'm starting to question whether the pandemic has affected your judgment.
I can assure you I'm still of sound mind, Bill. And listen, I fully understand your concerns. In fact, they're completely warranted. You have every right to be worried about Biden's tax and regulatory plans and the massive debt that our politicians drive higher every day. And you should be concerned about the people out of work and the businesses that have gone under that will never come back. I mean, those are real problems and they aren't going away. But here's the thing, it's easy to get caught up in all the negatives and forget about all the positives. And that's what the mainstream media does so well. They constantly push the bad stories, but never reveal the good ones.
Of course, that's what the media does. And I've been in the business for more than 40 years. Negativity sells. Let's just look at the last 4 years. Despite unemployment at a half-century low and record U.S. household income and wealth, the media drove home negative story after negative story. In my opinion, very dishonest.
Yeah, that's what they do. And their negative agenda creates fear. Their goal is not to tell the truth, but to attract viewers and promote their agenda. But here's the real truth. America, despite its corrupt media, inept political leaders, and gargantuan debt, is made up of the freest and most dynamic group of innovators on earth. Every day, Americans are inventing new technologies, launching new businesses, creating breakthrough medicines, and solving real-world problems. This has turned America into the greatest wealth creator in the history of the world. Think about all the technological advances we've seen in the past 100 years. Countless medical and surgical breakthroughs, the assembly line, the TV, internet, personal computers, smartphones, e-commerce, air travel, space exploration. About 50 years ago, Neil Armstrong took one small step for a man and one giant leap for mankind. Today, the phone in your pocket has more than 100,000 times the processing power of Armstrong's original guidance computer on board Apollo 11, and more than 7 million times the memory. Our ancestors would marvel at modern day life. In fact, I argue that middle-class Americans today are far better off than John D. Rockefeller, the world's wealthiest man 100 years ago. Today's middle class has vaccines, air conditioning, internet, and same-day travel. Rockefeller, despite billions in wealth, had none of these luxuries. What we've achieved in the last 100 years is more than we've achieved in the past 10,000 years combined. But here's the thing that the media fails to report, and it's really important for our viewers. The innovation we've seen has been great for everybody. 1.2 billion people have been lifted out of poverty. Life expectancy in every part of the world is up dramatically. Our innovations have led to longer, healthier, and richer lives for billions of people. And they're also creating astonishing wealth for everyday Americans who know how to spot these opportunities. But if you don't recognize how things are changing for the better today, you can't and won't participate. You'll get left behind.
Now, Alex, there's no doubt you're very good at showing folks how to participate in the wealth creation from big trends. But I have to say, sometimes it feels you're too optimistic. Our country is so divided. Everybody knows that. And with President Biden now in charge, I have a hard time believing the next 4 years will actually be economically great. He may try to ram through the Green New Deal, which will cost trillions, have the taxpayers pick up that tab, and also the tab on the student loan debt, and bail out blue state after blue state after blue state. It may be a disaster.
Yeah, Bill, I don't disagree with you. I think there are real problems with every one of those ideas, but our politicians have been doing a lousy job for decades. And as a financial analyst, I have to look for ways to succeed despite politics. Instead of worrying about what the politicians will do next, investors should be spending their time on one thing and one thing only, and that is identifying great companies that are creating cutting-edge new technologies, launching breakthrough products, beating sales targets quarter after quarter and rewarding shareholders along the way.
Okay, Alex, give us an example of the type of company you're talking about.
All right. Intuitive Surgical is a great example of this. You might remember this one, Bill. It's a stock I identified right about the time you started following my work. The company was the first to successfully develop surgical robots to help doctors with operations that require the utmost precision and accuracy. This is the type of company that can succeed in any market. And over the past 16 years, the stock has gone from $3 to more than $700.
And that was through the Bush presidency, the financial crisis, President Obama's 8 years in office, and the 4 years with Donald Trump in charge.
Right. And so a lot has happened politically, but none of it mattered to the results that Intuitive Surgical was producing. That's what you're looking for as an investor. And the beauty of the American system is anyone who recognizes an innovative company like Intuitive Surgical can share in the profits. Even just $5,000 in Intuitive Surgical in 2004 would be worth more than $1 million today.
And that's a fact, Alex. And your ability to find these types of stocks is a key reason I've been a follower of yours for so many years. But let's be honest, companies like Intuitive are rare. Aren't the chances of finding a big one like that again pretty slim?
Yeah, it's not easy, Bill. That's true. But as you know, I've had some great success finding these types of stocks over the years, whether we're talking about breakthrough medical companies like Intuitive Surgical and Celgene, or great tech innovators like Netflix and Apple. And here's the thing, in the next 2 years alone, the innovations I'm seeing now are going to become so big that the wealth created will be unprecedented. There'll be new products that will improve our world in unimaginable ways, and under the radar companies that will rise up to become household names. I've got 4 specific innovations I've pinpointed that I believe will change the world and reward shareholders in a big way. And I'd like to share the details on all 4 today. In the next 2 years, I expect we'll see record numbers of new millionaires minted, more stock market all-time highs, and a new prosperity in America that seems inconceivable today. And all of this will be the result not of the Biden presidency, but of the American innovators who make the real difference in this country.
So you're saying that will happen not because of Joe Biden, but despite him and his policies.
Yes, it's what people always forget. While the politicians are doing their best to screw things up, brilliant, hardworking, entrepreneurial Americans keep pushing forward. While innovation is already at historic levels we've never experienced before, it is now accelerating. It used to take a long time for a true innovation to come out. Now breakthroughs are hitting every month or even every week.
It's going straight up, it seems.
Well, it is, and investors are being rewarded faster too. Look at a company like Teladoc Health. Its online telehealth innovation rewarded investors with a 150% gain in just 1 year. Tesla's another one. Elon Musk is one of the great innovators of all time, and Tesla stock is up an astounding 7-fold in a single year.
Now, Alex, those were 2 of the best stock wins among many in 2020. But at some point, this has to stop, or at least slow down. Could this be the peak of innovation, what we're seeing now? And if so, would America be headed toward decline?
It's certainly a possibility, but it's very unlikely. If you look at what the real builders of America, the innovators, the entrepreneurs are doing right now, you'll find that innovation isn't slowing. It's accelerating faster and faster every day. Exponential growth is all around us, but it can be hard to see. Look at the microprocessor, for example. When it first came out in 1971, a microprocessor could hold about 2,000 transistors. Now, more than 39 billion. When cell phones came out, they cut in and out constantly during a normal phone call. Today, billions of people can instantly video chat in crystal clear high definition. And it's not just high tech. Look at food production. An acre of land used to produce 1 ton of wheat every year. Now, thanks to modern technology, it produces 8 tons. Everyone watching today needs to understand that this exponential growth is happening all around us. Technology, agriculture, e-commerce, medical devices.
Alex, look at what has happened with the coronavirus vaccine. In the past, new vaccines took 10 years or more to be developed. And even then, they often weren't that effective. The flu vaccine, which still uses the old method, is effective only between 40 and 60% of the time. That's a coin flip. So, what Pfizer and Moderna have done in warp speed is nothing short of a miracle.
Yeah, it truly is, Bill. And here's something amazing to think about. Moderna's vaccine design was actually created within 2 days of the publication of the coronavirus genome. 48 hours. It took some time to get it out because of the necessary testing, but the design itself took all of just 1 weekend. The Moderna team then fully developed the vaccine, boosting it to 95% effectiveness by harnessing the power of messenger RNA, also called mRNA, and had it ready for distribution before the end of the year. This is the type of thing I'm talking about, exponential innovation. And in this case, what Moderna did is actually just the first stepping stone to far more innovation to come. In fact, mRNA is the first big innovation I want to tell our audience about today. I believe it's going to create massive wealth over the next 2 years. It's going to completely revolutionize medicine all over the world, even more so than intuitive surgical.
Well, Alex, you were way out in front on this. You recommended Moderna to your VIP subscribers in February of last year, a full 9 months before the vaccine was approved. Can you fill the viewers in on what makes mRNA so powerful and why you see it as a key innovation?
Sure, Bill. I think mRNA might be the single greatest innovation of this century. It's going to save millions of lives and generate trillions of dollars in wealth. So here's how it works. With a normal vaccine, doctors are injecting weakened or inactive disease right into our bodies. That can come with some dangers and side effects, of course. And so traditionally, scientists have had to test vaccine for years, sometimes decades, to get them to be effective. mRNA operates differently. It doesn't inject inactive versions of a disease into our bodies. Instead, it simply is a messenger that gives our genes instructions on how to produce the antibodies needed to fight the disease. Now, what's really important about this is 2 things. First, mRNA vaccines are much faster and easier to develop than traditional vaccines. As researchers at Harvard point out, it's easy to make that mRNA in the laboratory in large amounts. The CDC, Centers for Disease Control, confirms that mRNA vaccine development is faster than traditional methods of making vaccines. And second, the technology can easily be used for tons of different diseases. Again, the CDC confirms that future mRNA vaccine technology may allow for one vaccine to provide protection for multiple diseases.
And the Wall Street Journal agrees. It's written that mRNA, quote, could provide new treatments for cancer, heart disease, and other infectious diseases, unquote.
Right. So we're talking about the worst, most devastating diseases in the world, and mRNA could be the answer to solving them. My friend Ron Bailey, the science correspondent for Reason Magazine, sums up everything quite nicely. He said, the promise of mRNA vaccines is that they are faster, cheaper, and safer to produce than conventional vaccines. They might just be the path to the complete eradication of some of the worst diseases that mankind faces.
Obviously, that looks very promising. Let me get back to the second part of my question. Alex, you are here to help folks understand big innovations and how to profit. So how were you so far out in front on Moderna?
Well, Bill, in February, when I first wrote about it, the stock was trading for around 20 bucks. And my financial research, which my team and I conduct every day, proved that Moderna's CEO was one of the first to anticipate the potential impact of COVID-19. Moderna started working with the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases on a vaccine in early January. And by February 24th, it submitted its first batch of the vaccine for government review. Now, one thing that really stuck out to me as an investment analyst is I noticed that Moderna director Paul Sagan purchased 53,000 shares on February 14th, a full 10 days before Moderna sent its vaccine out for government review. So Sagan's purchase totaled $1 million.
Investing his own money in his company's stock. He must have already realized this technology would be big.
That's right, Bill, and it was an awfully smart move. My readers were looking at 200% gains by May, And before the year was out, Moderna topped $150. A simple $2,000 investment here would have turned into $15,000 in less than a year. $20,000 would have turned into $150,000. So those who actually understood the importance of what a company like Moderna was doing with mRNA had the opportunity to grow their wealth substantially. And I'm talking about extraordinary wealth. Sagan's $1 million investment was worth more than $7.5 million just 10 months later. And Harvard biology professor Tim Springer, who invested $5 million to help launch Moderna in 2010, gained $2 billion from Moderna's meteoric rise. And MIT professor Robert Langer, one of the earliest investors in Moderna, became a billionaire too, with a reported $1.5 billion gain in Moderna.
But Alex, the gain in Moderna is gone now. Moderna made headlines and shot up dramatically. So isn't it too late to invest in that company?
Well, I think Moderna certainly could go up more. It's a great company to own, but there's a much smaller player I've identified with a lot of room for explosive gains. While Moderna is focused on COVID-19, this second company is pushing forward very quickly using mRNA technology to tackle all the worst diseases: cancer, heart disease, and several other rare diseases.
Those are pretty big claims, Alex. A lot of people have said they have an answer to cancer and heart disease over the years. We've all heard that, but people are still dying every day. How do we know this treatment will not fail, like so many treatments have failed in the past?
Well, Bill, it's true that you can't know for sure until it's working, but what we're seeing with mRNA is as promising as any treatment I've seen in the past. And here's a real-life example that perfectly sums up mRNA's potential. Brad Kremer, a 52-year-old salesman and family man in Massachusetts, had skin cancer that had spread to his liver and spine. His back pain was getting worse. His bones were literally breaking. He was losing weight, and a new cancerous lesion kept appearing on his left thigh. It was very scary, he said. He tried immunotherapy, but it was ineffective. Then he got an experimental mRNA cancer vaccine, and within weeks of his first injection, the quarter-sized melanoma spots on his leg began disappearing. He said that he was actually witnessing the cancer cells shrinking right before his eyes. And several doses of the vaccine later, his back pain disappeared and his appetite returned. So today, there's no measurable cancer cells left in my body, he says. And this is not some one-off example. The first 13 people with advanced stage melanoma who received this mRNA cancer vaccine showed elevated immunity, and their risk of developing new cancerous lesions was significantly reduced. Pharmaceutical scientist Gaurav Sahay of Oregon State University says there is now a tsunami of enthusiasm about the potential of mRNA to treat just about everything. Now, Bill, I want to be clear. I'm not saying that mRNA will cure cancer tomorrow. Innovation does take time, and there are always setbacks along the way. But what I am saying is that the success of what Moderna has done has given other scientists the chance to take that leap and build on it. And the results of mRNA so far are some of the most promising I've ever seen. And this is just one area where innovation is not just changing the world, but also making it so much better for all of us.
Now, Alex, that's a story you just don't hear in the mainstream media. It is an incredible story. And you mentioned a specific company that you feel will be the big winner in all of this. Can you tell us a bit about why you like it so much? I know your goal here is to find that really rare stock like Moderna or Intuitive Surgical. Those sorts of wins can be life-changing for people, but I think it's really hard to find those companies.
Yeah, you're right, Bill. And there's one particular up-and-coming biotech in the mRNA space that's got my complete attention. Its mRNA technology is so versatile. Its patented technologies are a bit different from those of, say, a Moderna. Moderna's vaccine works by telling the immune system to create antibodies. But this company actually delivers messages to the body that shut down diseases from the start. Quite often, diseases are caused when the body malfunctions and starts to build the wrong types of cells. This is what can cause cancer. But this company can send messages inside the cells to shut down the production of bad cells. And the science behind this particular method won a Nobel Prize. And this company is starting by going after life-threatening kidney and liver diseases, among many others. It's focusing on diseases with no cures. Its goal is to get much-needed treatments to millions of patients, treatments that are faster, cheaper, and far more effective than what's available now. And the good news just keeps rolling in. It just reported positive results from a phase 1 trial for a hepatitis B vaccine with no serious side effects. Hep B kills 880,000 people per year, and 292 million are infected. In total, hundreds of millions of people could potentially benefit from this company's technologies in the future. And that vaccine is just one of the company's 3 drug candidates in clinical trials. It also has 20 treatments in various stages of development. And the company will announce at least 4 trial results this year. It recently announced FDA acceptance of an investigational new drug application. This drug is the first clinical stage candidate to emerge from its collaboration with Eli Lilly. And it just received orphan drug status to treat A1AT deficiency, which can lead to lung and liver cancer.
Orphan drug status can be a huge win for a stock. Can you explain what that is?
Yeah, Bill, in short, this coveted designation gives a company exclusive rights and special tax benefits over a 7-year window in order to help it develop a cure for a specific condition. And more importantly for investors, it allows the pharmaceutical company to profit exclusively for 7 years from the product it creates. Now, I don't think it should come as a surprise that orphan drug status can serve as a launching pad for a stock. For example, AbbVie won orphan drug status for a Crohn's disease treatment in 2016. It went on to more than double over the next 14 months. And if you look at Alexion, it won orphan drug status for its drug, which treats a condition that causes kidney disease in 2009. And it went from $22 to $200 a share in 6 years, an extraordinary 800% gain.
Now, everybody knows that a small stock can turn into a big winner under the right conditions. But what's to stop some of the bigger fish like Pfizer from coming in and beating it to the punch?
Yeah, good point, Bill. That's definitely something to be concerned about. But sometimes the smallest companies turn into the biggest winners. Look at Moderna. It was a little fish, but then turned into a household name in almost no time. And here's the thing about the new company I'm talking about today. It has all the patents, 250 either granted or pending, protecting its technologies. So instead of the big boys coming in and beating it, they're actually all partnering with this company instead. It's quietly locking up lucrative 8 to 9-figure deals left and right. And pharma giants like Eli Lilly, Roche, and Novo Nordisk are committing at least $200 million each. The Roche deal alone could pay this company $1.5 billion in future sales. And that's more than the company's current market cap. So over the next 2 years, smart investors have the chance to rake in potential fortunes with this company.
So big pharma giants recognize the potential. But what about the so-called smart money? Is Wall Street piling on?
Yeah, of course it is. JP Morgan Chase, Citadel, and Wellington Management each upped their stakes by double digits in a recent quarter. Wellington alone now owns $107 million worth of shares. Now, of course, there's risk in investing. Nothing's guaranteed, but the smart money sees the potential. Big pharma sees the potential, and I see the potential too.
Last question for you, Alex, about this company. It's not expensive right now, is it?
No, it's around $25 a share.
That's about the same price NeoGenomics was when you and I first got together in the fall of 2019 for the Great American Wealth Project. You guys might remember that. So back then, you said that NEO was an up-and-coming innovative biotech and that folks should buy it. It shot up to $55 by the end of 2020.
Yeah, Bill, it went up 129% in 16 months. A great win for those who listen to our broadcast. And while NeoGenomics specializes in genetic testing, this new company I'm recommending for the first time today is looking to eradicate all disease. So for investors, I believe the profit potential could be a moonshot. I've put together a special report that has all the details on this company's stock. including the ticker symbol and exactly how to buy instructions that I'd like to deliver to all of our viewers today.
So you can let the folks know how to get their hands on your report immediately following the broadcast. But let's transition now into the next innovations that will change our world as we know it. So, Alex, you and I also talked about 5G technology at the Great American Wealth Project. And again, you guys might remember that. You saw 5G as a big innovation that was going to change the world.
Yeah, that's right, Bill. We broke down the coming 5G rollout and why that was going to generate significant wealth.
Your top 5G stock was Marvell Technology Group. And wow, that too was a big winner. It was $25 when you recommended it, and it hit almost $50 in just a little more than a year.
Yeah, it nearly doubled by the end of 2020, and people who listened to our broadcast back then may have made a fortune. One man said he generated a $4,335 profit in 3 days, a 41% gain, and he wrote, "I never heard of Marvell Technology until Alec did the Bill O'Reilly interview." Another gentleman said he turned $5,100 into more than $11,000. And one very happy camper said he made $31,000 on that near double before the end of 2020. But Bill, this will give you an idea of how fast innovation is speeding up. Just a year and a half later, you and I are sitting here again, and this time I'm going to tell you about 10G.
Wait. 10G? What happened to 6, 7, 8, and 9?
Well, this is how fast that the innovation is accelerating. And let me assure our audience, I am not making 10G up. It's a real thing. The rollout is already happening, and it is going to be huge.
Are you telling me that 5G is already going to be obsolete? It's just getting started. Come on.
No, actually, 10G is not a replacement for 5G. In fact, there's a very big difference between 5G and 10G. 5G applies to the mobile industry, and the G stands for generation. So 5G is the 5th generation of cell networks. 10G applies to the cable broadband network, which delivers broadband to your house. And in this case, 10G stands for 10 gigabits per second.
So it's a completely different thing.
Yeah, and 10G is more than 100 times faster, more reliable, and more secure than today's home and business networks. And it's currently being built by cable operators like Comcast, Charter, Midco, and Cox, and it's going to be huge. Bill, look, we're entering a new reality of smart everything. Smart phones, smart homes, smart cars, and with billions of people streaming television and movies at home, connecting with family over Zoom calls, producing and downloading billions of gigabytes of data, our homes and business networks need extreme speeds to keep up. Brian Chin of the New York Times reports average internet speeds all over the world have slowed. Some broadband providers are feeling crushed by the heavy traffic, and dated internet equipment can create a bottleneck for our speeds. 10G solves all of this. Consider, the current average broadband connection operates at speeds around 93 megabits per second. 10 gigabits per second is literally 106 times faster than that. Mediacom, the nation's 5th largest cable provider, has this to say about 10G. This enhanced network will power everything, including never-before-seen holographic television, crystal clear 8K streaming video, life-saving telemedicine applications, and seamless home and business automation.
Wow, that's a lot to absorb. And I'd imagine this is going to be very important for all the people working from home.
Yeah, right, Bill. I mean, look at Microsoft. The company's allowing its 150,000 workers to work from home permanently. Facebook, Twitter, Square, and Zillow are all offering many of their employees the chance to work from home permanently. These companies need 10G to be as efficient as possible. And I have a new company that's way out front in 10G while everyone else is still focused on 5G.
All right, Alex, let's hear it.
Okay, its CEO says, while the world is talking about 5G, we're proud to be part of this extraordinary movement to 10G. We're already launching entire gigacities, and that's just the start. He says his company is building networks that will fuel innovation and the economy of the future.
Well, this sounds like exactly the sort of forward-looking company I want to be involved with. Now, I can't give anybody financial advice, but as you know, I listen to Green. All right. I'm really curious about this now. So, how, Alex, is the company going to fulfill its ambitious goals?
Well, good question, Bill. The race is on to roll out 10G to 85% of US homes and take it worldwide too. And what's most incredible is that the 10G company I've targeted has figured out a way to roll out 10G without construction crews replacing cable networks all over the country. It's got patent-protected technology that allows it to digitally add more transmission to existing coaxial cable. According to the company's chief technology officer, this technology results in higher speeds, more capacity, and better security with no disruption and no digging up the streets, what we like to call gigging without digging. And Bill, you know who believes in this 10G company stock perhaps more than anyone else? Warren Buffett, whose Berkshire Hathaway fund is the single largest shareholder with $378 million in shares.
You know, you recommended Burke to me 18 years ago. I still have it.
Good for you.
And it's put my kids through college, okay?
Incredible. Burke B is up 421% since 2001.
So I know that it's a good company, and Buffett obviously knows what he's doing. So you have prepared a report, Alex, on this Buffett-preferred 10G company, just like you have the mRNA company, correct?
Yes, yep, I have. And it features buy instructions and the exact ticker symbol. Again, everything the viewers need in order to add it to their own accounts.
So I hope you guys will stick with us because you'll see how to get your hands on Alex's exclusive reports. Now, he's mentioned 2 so far, but he's got 2 more big innovations still to come. And Alex's team is gearing up to send out the information on his favorite stocks involved in this new wave of innovation. Plus, there's actually a lot more you can walk away with today. You will see how to get 2 best-selling hardcover books, including my best-selling book, Killing Crazy Horse, and Alex's brand new edition of the Gone Fishing Portfolio, one of my favorite books on investing for people who like to keep it simple, like I do. Simple guy, you all know that. So you're gonna see how to get both of those books without paying retail or shipping. But before we get to all that, Alex Green wants to talk about a 3rd innovation set to change the entire world and mint fortunes for investors along the way. So Alex, what do you have for us?
Well, Bill, as the world's population continues to expand, one of the biggest problems that needs solving is how to feed everyone. This is a problem that's been around for a long time, and it's been something that many have consistently predicted would result in disaster.
Now, the population doomsayers have been predicting a total collapse for years. When I was growing up, it was the population bomb by Stanford professor Paul Ehrlich. Academics loved that book. It was published in 1968 and predicted that overpopulation would lead to worldwide famine by the 1970s and 80s. Now, many wanted to use this argument to limit population growth, like China, where they instituted the one-child policy.
Yeah, but what Ehrlich and others like economist Thomas Malthus missed was that technology would be able to help us produce far more food using up far less land than ever before. And as I said earlier, a single acre of land has gone from producing a ton of wheat to 8 tons of wheat. And similar output has increased for everything from corn and sweet potatoes to beets and broccoli.
So do you believe, Alex, that we're going to see another leap in agriculture? You're saying that the output from a single acre is going to grow even more?
Not only is it going to increase, Bill, it's going to increase dramatically. Because my 3rd innovation is one of the most exciting developments happening right now as we speak. And I'm talking about vertical farming.
Vertical farming. How does that work?
Well, it's exactly like what it sounds. With vertical farming, crops are stacked in layers that can go hundreds of feet high. Now, specialized LED lights ensure that all of them conduct photosynthesis, and hydroponic and aquaponic technologies allow growth in far less soil than ordinary farming requires. With vertical farming, Produce can grow year-round and with no pesticides. And this all results in an exponential level of production. And get this, Bill, this process results in produce yields 350 times greater than those seen in traditional agriculture, with 1% of the water and no soil. So let me repeat that again, 350 times greater. And factoring in all of the resources used, vertical farming can be 100 times more efficient than traditional farming. And this is huge. In just 30 years' time, the world will need 70% more food than we currently produce, requiring more efficient use of land and water. That's according to Jeff Hausenbold, who's a managing partner at SoftBank. And that's the problem. Vertical farming is the solution. And Peter Diamandis, a future and serial entrepreneur, says today's breakthroughs in vertical farming will soon allow our planet to boost its food production by nearly 70%, using a fraction of the real estate and resources to feed 9 billion by mid-century.
Now, Alex, you know I'm a skeptic. That's my job as a journalist. I never believe anything until I see it. And this sounds like something truly from the future that might be years away. This all sounds great, but will it work in practice?
Yeah, you're absolutely right to be skeptical, Bill. In the past, people have come up with these sort of ideas, but they haven't succeeded. And in the case of vertical farming, that was always because of the big cost of the lighting. You see, hydroponics, which is the process of indoor cultivation, requires powerful lighting that mimics the sun's rays. But lighting, just like computers and high-definition televisions, has dramatically improved in recent years, while the cost has decreased significantly. And this is due to the new specialized LED lighting that I mentioned earlier. And thanks to these new lights, a hydroponic system now costs 1/10 of what it did a decade ago. And that cost is dropping fast, while lighting efficiency has more than doubled within the past decade. So now vertical farming can operate profitably. And it's no wonder one of the industry's leading experts says, I like to think we're on the cusp of one of the most incredible evolutions we've ever gone through. And I expect that we'll see vertical farming rolling out in city after city across America.
Okay. Can you share details on your vertical farming stock?
Well, as of right now, there is one publicly traded company that makes perfect sense. This fast-growing retailer owns and operates a chain of stores selling equipment for hydroponics and organic gardening. And sales in the last 12 months were up an astounding 152% year over year. It's expanded to 39 locations across the United States, up from 25 the year before. It recently acquired the largest hydroponics operator in Southern California. It's adding an additional $50 million in recurring annual revenue after purchasing the country's third largest chain of hydroponic garden centers, which stretches across the Pacific Northwest. And these buyouts can act as catalysts. In fact, its stock shot up 12% in a day on the announcement of a buyout, and more acquisitions are expected in the years ahead. So the industry is poised to grow by an astonishing 38% annually going forward, which I think is a very conservative estimate. And analysts never seem to take into account how fast these technologies spread once they're adopted. And so I have no doubt this company will lead the way. And again, in my special report, I have buy instructions for the one publicly traded vertical farm supplier that could solve world hunger.
Okay. So that's 3 exclusive stocks you've got for the folks. I have to admit, Alex, these technologies appear very impressive. mRNA, 10G, vertical farming. So I'm starting to understand why you are so confident about the next couple of years in this country. And while I still believe this sort of innovation would go even faster if the politicians would get out of the way, I do agree with your belief that the best entrepreneurs always seem to find a way to succeed despite the government.
Yeah, that's true, Bill. And we've seen it throughout history. No matter how much the people in power try to keep them down, the innovators always win out in the end.
No, I agree. And let's keep pushing forward because that is the key to social and financial success. So let's get to the 4th and final innovation.
All right. My next innovator is one that will turn scenes out of the Jetsons into reality. It's a robotics company founded by 3 scientists from MIT's Artificial Intelligence Lab. It's created telemedical robots that operate stethoscopes and ultrasounds. It's created military robots to defuse bombs. In fact, one of this company's earliest products conducted search and rescue at Ground Zero after the 9/11 terror attacks. Its robots were also used to gather data in dangerous conditions at the Fukushima nuclear disaster site and detected underwater pools of oil after the Deepwater Horizon oil spill. More than 2,000 of this company's robots were deployed in Iraq and Afghanistan, and more than 5,000 more to defense forces around the world. But here's where the story gets big. This company has truly reinvented itself in 2021, as it has created a path toward affordable consumer robotics products. And this company is now creating robots for practical use in homes, pool, lawn maintenance, retail businesses, and more. And the company's CEO says advancements in computer vision and the ability for robots to map out a home or business make such devices possible.
So there's no question robotics is an amazing field. They are instrumental in the manufacturing of cars, in medical procedures like with surgical robots. Your recommendation, Alex, on Intuitive Surgical, a medical robotics company, one of the best winners in the past 20 years. But people also worry that the robots will put people out of jobs. Is that a concern for you?
Yeah, I understand that because, Bill, that type of thinking's been around for a long time. In the early 19th century, about 72% of Americans worked on farms. So when people like John Deere started manufacturing steel plows and later tractors, or when the first grain elevator was put into practice in Buffalo, people everywhere feared that these technological innovations would destroy jobs. And in a way, it did.
What do you mean?
Well, for instance, less than 5% of Americans work on farms today, so these innovations did reduce farm jobs, but they also made our lives far better. And humans, being as adaptable as we are, found other jobs. And there were similar fears about the automobile putting the horse and buggy industry out of business. Or when computers came along, there was a fear that accountants would no longer be needed. And robots will have a similar effect, but they'll also help us increase productivity, make our lives better, and drive innovation forward. And get this, Bill, according to Bloomberg, my favorite robotics company is now working on a fully integrated smart home with robotic helpers. And these robotic wonders can help with home security, efficient uses of electricity and air conditioning. They can wash dishes, mop floors, do laundry. They can even do the yard and clean the pool. So robotics are being designed right now that can potentially do just about every imaginable chore around your home. So you get time back in your life every week so that you can spend time reading Killing Crazy Horse, or spending more time with your kids and grandkids, or just kicking your feet up on your favorite recliner. So just say, hey, Alexa, wash the dishes, mop the floors, do my laundry, mow the yard, and clean the pool.
You said Alexa just then. Does this robotics company have something to do with Amazon?
As a matter of fact, they do, Bill. In fact, this company has already partnered with Google to integrate its products with Google Assistant and with Amazon to integrate with Alexa. So Google and Amazon do not make partnerships with companies lightly. They only work with the best-in-class companies that have game-changing technologies and the patents to back them up. So this robotics revolution is very real, and it's on the verge of breaking out all over the country. And the company owns hundreds of patents on its technology. For example, one of these companies' newest patents is for robot artificial intelligence for situational awareness. So as it cleans your home, it avoids running into you or your corgi. And another patent is for lawn mowing boundary detection. So it knows exactly how much of your yard needs to be mowed. It doesn't mow your neighbor's yard. And another recent patent is for its evacuation system. So after your robot cleans up everything, it can discard the debris at an evacuation station. So you don't even have to take out the trash.
That sounds downright futuristic.
It is and it does. But consider, Bill, this company has already sold 30 million products, 30 million. And while these products are certainly useful to your home and business, it's also making a significant impact in the healthcare market. This is the first company in history to receive FDA clearance for its autonomous telemedicine robot for use in hospitals. And the company's CEO said, and I quote, "FDA clearance of a robot that can move safely and independently through a fast-paced, chaotic, and demanding hospital environment is a significant technological milestone." And of course it is. And so, Bill, that means the potential for self-navigating robots in other markets, businesses, and for new applications is virtually limitless. Okay, but now here is the biggest part of all this. The company also is developing brand new drone technology that might be the biggest game changer across the globe over the next 5 years. Bill, you're probably aware that Amazon is quietly working on a plan to have drones make their deliveries all over the world. Jeff Bezos went on 60 Minutes a while ago and made headlines everywhere as he revealed the future for Amazon was to have drones deliver purchases in just an hour. Well, guess what this robotics company has developed? New drone technology that can be used to do exactly that. The FAA just gave Amazon approval for drone deliveries in 2020, and other companies like UPS have been approved as well. So just imagine if the robotics company I'm talking about becomes the company that provides even a fraction of all those drones.
We are talking about billions of dollars. It could become one of the most well-known companies in the world, correct?
That's right. And that's why I believe the profit potential here is immense. The company is small now with just a $2.3 billion market cap, yet it brought in $1.3 billion in revenue over a 12-month period. That's more than half its market cap in a single year. So it's grown net income 250% since 2016. It's got $227 million more in cash than it has in debt, and future profits are protected with a list of patents a mile long. But if it ends up being the primary drone maker for Amazon and others, this could become one of the biggest wins I've recommended. So Schaefer's Research says this company has, and I quote, "huge potential upside for investors and comes with very little downside risk." And I'd say it could be hands down the biggest winner of all the companies I've talked about today.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what you're trying to do for the folks today, Alex. You are looking for the big innovations and the best ways to profit from them.
Right. And remember, the 4 innovations we've talked about today are just scratching the surface of what's going on right here in America. Innovation is accelerating, but exponentially. That's why I believe we're going to see more wealth created in the next 2 years than in the last 2 decades combined. We're talking about an additional $9 trillion in new wealth here at least.
So divisive politics, the Fed, record high debt, forget it all? Wealth is going crazy?
Well, there are going to be bumps along the way. There's no question of that. But innovation trumps everything else. It's an unstoppable force that will push American wealth to record high levels. And Bill, that's why we need to get everyone watching fully prepared for what's ahead. And I'm looking forward to getting a huge, valuable package into our viewers' hands today. It's called the Innovation Accelerator Playbook, and it contains reports on all 4 of my favorite innovations and the companies I expect to become massive winners in the next 2 years. And this playbook is your guide to positioning yourself for the incredible wealth creation that I believe is coming. And each special report in the package includes the names and ticker symbols of these innovative stocks. And it also includes easy-to-follow buy now instructions. And the first report in the Innovation Accelerator Playbook is called the mRNA Leader, Locking Up Multiple $200 Million Deals. The second is the 10G Frontrunner, Changing How Business is Done. The third is the Future of Food, the vertical farm supplier feeding the world. And the fourth and final is the robotics company partnered with Google and Amazon.
Excellent, Alex. This is all impressive, I think. And if you've got me excited, not about politics or the economy, but about the real America and what our most brilliant people are creating. So, Alex, I'm going to talk directly to the folks right now because there's a lot more to this special package. Yes, these 4 exclusive reports are all part of the Innovation Accelerator Playbook. But Alex and I are doing something special to add to it because you'll also receive Alex Green's brand new revised and updated edition of his New York Times bestseller, which I, your humble correspondent, wrote the foreword to, which I think you're going to enjoy. It's called The Gone Fishin' Portfolio. It's about how to manage your hard-earned money in a serious way, using a Nobel Prize winning strategy that takes 20 minutes a year. It's an absolute godsend. It was to me. John Mackey, the founder of Whole Foods, told the Wall Street Journal, quote, "The Gone Fishin' Portfolio by Alexander Green offers a very simple strategy that has consistently beaten the S&P 500 with less risk. I am following this exact system in my own personal investing," unquote. So obviously that's high praise coming from a guy who started a company that sold to Amazon for $13.7 billion in cash. And it's not just the uber wealthy putting Alex's Gone Fishing portfolio to use. Everyday folks' lives have been changed thanks to the book. One 5-star reviewer called it the answer to my prayers, unquote. And then there's Ron Eberle in Dallas, Texas, who said, quote, "I was early retired from a huge company in 2009. One of the first things I did was read the Gone Fishing portfolio, and I feel the results have been phenomenal. I started with a $500,000 portfolio, which today has grown to $1.2 million. He now works as a seasonal park ranger because that's what he wants to do in retirement. Good for Ron. And that is another reason I'm so proud to have written the foreword for the book. You should know this is a limited time exclusive opportunity for you to receive the book today. It's not yet being sold on Amazon or in the bookstores anywhere. This is reserved strictly for you watching right now. This great book can be yours today without having to pay retail or shipping. And that's not all. I'm also including my new book, the latest in the Killing series, which is the best-selling nonfiction book series of all time, with more than 18 million copies of my books in print. The newest book in the set, the 9th one, is Killing Crazy Horse, The Merciless Indian Wars in America. The New York Post, page 6, said, might even be the best of all the Killing books. Many of the folks who have read it agree. This is a history book. It's an eye-opener. You won't want to put it down until you've read it cover to cover. At least I hope so. This book also part of the special package available to you today. And you don't have to pay retail or shipping for this hardcover either. So you get 2 books, 4 special reports from Mr. Green. But there's even one more thing that will likely go down as the most valuable part of the entire package. It's something I've used for nearly 2 full decades. Today, I'd like to introduce you to Alex Green's critically acclaimed research service, the Oxford Communique. Now, I've been reading Alex's work since 2003, about 2 years after he first started running the Oxford Club's flagship publication. It's clear, concise, award-winning research that even I can understand. You will get a new innovative stock recommendation every single month. Everything is manageable. So what does the portfolio look like now, Alex?
Well, right now there are 31 open recommendations in my model portfolio. 29 of them are winners, and better yet, many of them are open buy recommendations that you can fill your portfolio with today. And since inception, my recommendations have averaged over 23% with a holding time of 1.5 years. And we're on fire right now. One short-term open play is up 147%, another is up 199%, all in under a year. Some of the long-term open plays are even bigger, up 456%, 586%, and an extraordinary 592% since 2003. And our model portfolios are crushing the S&P, outperforming it by nearly 100% over the past 2 decades. We haven't had a down performance on our official closed trades for 17 straight years, not even during the Great Recession. So it's no surprise Kiplinger reported that the communique has performed impressively, which coincided with the installation of Alexander Green as editor in 2001.
More high praise, but it is important to understand that Alex Green is not always right. Everybody got that? Nobody's perfect. Stocks can be unpredictable. So please be aware and take that into consideration. But for me, I've always liked Alex's work because he gives me the best information, and then I decide whether to invest or not. I'm in control. I like that. And I've had great success following his communique. I made great money following Alex's picks, Diageo, Nordstrom, AT&T, and especially the home run on Burke B, as I mentioned. Alex, you brought along 3 communique issues from the past 3 years that I think are important for everybody to see. These issues come in both print and digital formats. Let's start with this one, November 2018.
Right, Bill. This one I wrote, major drug breakthrough or sudden takeover. Either way, this small biotech has blockbuster potential. That stock, Myocardia. We got it right on all accounts. The FDA granted a breakthrough therapy designation to the company's prized cardiovascular drug in July 2020. And then, just a few months later, and this is incredible, Bristol Myers Squibb forked over $13.1 billion in an all-cash deal to buy the company outright. So communique readers made out like bandits, and Myocardia stock jumped 59% in a single day on that buyout news. And readers were looking at an official 331% total gain in just under 2 years.
Now, if you think 59% in a single day is rare, it is. But it's not completely out of the ordinary for the communique readers. Give us another example, Alex.
All right, sure. On June 1st, 2019, my communique pick was Sotheby's. Within weeks of my writing that article, Sotheby's got an offer from a French billionaire to go private. And the stock popped an instant 61% gain on the day of that announcement. And then in June 2020, I recommended Zillow. Spot on again in this case. Anyone who took that Zillow recommendation had a chance to make 138% within the next 6 months.
So, Alex, what you've done for my own finances and for the portfolios of so many everyday Americans is truly impressive. And it is. And that's why I'm here. Even though I was shocked to hear your optimism regarding the next 2 years, I knew you would make a strong case. And I think you've done that. That's why I've stuck with you for almost 2 decades. And you guys should know, I don't have any other newsletters, financial newsletters. I don't have any others. The only one I have. So I want people to know and understand that there may be great opportunities right in front of us that transcend politics. Doesn't matter if the overall economy is good, whether the market is up or down. Nobody can predict that. Some try, but you don't, Alex. The guy across from me right now is famous for saying you can't time the market. He's not interested in the ebbs and flows. What he can do for you and me through his communique is try to give you the exact companies that are poised to innovate, make the world a better place, and reward shareholders in the process. Look, if you want a smart way to grow your wealth, I wanted that as well. I work hard for my money. I want it to grow. So I took Alex's communique, I educated myself, and then I won in more cases than I lost. And I created wealth for my family. That's it.
Yeah. Bill, I can't begin to tell you how much I appreciate that. Honest, independent information really is key. I couldn't agree more. And that's also why you now have millions of followers on BillO'Reilly.com. You are the CEO of one of the most competitive news outlets in the world, and it means a lot to me that you've taken the time to talk to me about the communique because I believe in it so much. And I believe it has a huge impact on people. And we hear that over and over again from the testimonials that pour in.
Well, I can attest to it. You know, again, since 2003, Green's been the only guy that I've really listened to in purchasing stocks. And truthfully, I want you to get the same advantage that I have. I want you to prosper. And I want you to put aside the corrupt corporate media because the pinheads in Washington are not doing you any good. And you know it. So I'll say it one more time. Check out Alex's communique. break it down. You'll see what he's doing. And then tell me how the service works for you. I'm really interested in how it works for you.
Yeah, well, Bill, every month I alert my readers to a new breakout recommendation, and the goal of the communique is to help readers maximize their income, minimize their taxes, at least double the return of the broad market every year, minimize market risk, live a financially free life without money worries and concerns. And I don't try to jump in and out of the markets constantly based on the media-driven news cycle. I don't try to predict what the next move is that the Fed will make. And rather, I look for innovative companies that are truly changing our world for the better by inventing new products, gaining worldwide market share, and consistently increasing sales and earnings. And that approach has led to some massive returns, like the $800,000 in profit one of my readers made on Celgene, starting with just $25,000 back in 2003. Another said he made $1.2 million with a 1,000% plus gain on Intuitive Surgical, starting in 2004. And another made $3.35 million in total profits by listening to all of my recommendations, and they started with just $150,000 back in 2009. So you could be the next person to get your shot at transforming your portfolio, whatever its size. And that's why you should stack the deck in your favor by having the communique at your fingertips. And remember, we're on the cusp of an incredible moment in history. Disruptive technologies like the ones we've talked about today, mRNA, 10G, vertical farming, and robotics are just the start. Lots of exciting new technological developments are just ahead and will make our lives safer, healthier, and better. And early investors stand to make a bundle. And the great thing is, in the communique, I'll be recommending another great innovator every month. That's why you'll want to subscribe now so you don't miss out on my next big recommendation.
Now, it's always been important to me that people watching have every protection for giving something like this a try. Again, stocks are risky. You need some protection. So along with everything else that you've promised, Alex, you're also offering everyone watching today a risk-free trial of the Oxford Communique. Is that correct?
Yep, that's right, Bill. Everything promised today comes with my personal 365-day risk-free guarantee. My reader satisfaction is 100% guaranteed. I want everyone beaming with excitement, thrilled with their results. And if not, they can get a full refund.
So if you're beaming, you're good. If you're not beaming, you can get a refund.
That's how it works.
All right, that beaming thing going on. So this is all together in the Innovation Accelerator Playbook. It's a massive package.
Yeah, that's right. So you'll receive a 365-day risk-free trial run in the Oxford Communique with a 100% satisfaction guarantee. And along with it, you'll get 4 special reports, and I'll list those again. The mRNA leader, locking up multiple $200 million deals. The 10G frontrunner, changing how business is done. The future of food, the vertical farm supplier feeding the world. And the robotics company partnered with Google and Amazon. Plus, you'll get Bill's brand new book, Killing Crazy Horse, for free. Additionally, I'm going to include my New York Times bestseller, The Gone Fishing Portfolio.
And for the first time ever, you'll see my forward at the start of the Gone Fishing Portfolio. And everyone watching can get it today without paying retail or shipping. In fact, only the people watching today can receive this hardcover. It's not available, as I said, through Amazon or bookstores. For a limited time, the publisher is making it exclusively available to people who choose to receive the Innovation Accelerator Playbook. In a moment, one of the key executives at Alex's organization, George Rayburn, is going to explain how to get everything we have mentioned today. But before we hand it over to George, let me say this. I asked Alex to ensure that my audience gets treated with the deep appreciation I have for them. As you'll see, Alex is going to make his communique available to you at less than $1 a week. So, thank you for watching us today. Here with Alexander Green, Chief Investment Strategist of the Oxford Club, I am Bill O'Reilly. And now we'll turn it over to George Rayburn, Mr. Big Shot, and you better call him that or he gets upset, Executive Vice President of the Oxford Club. George.
Bill, Alex, yet another fantastic broadcast. Certainly the best one yet. As Bill said, an incredible deal awaits you for the Innovation Accelerator Playbook, including the mRNA leader locking up multiple $200 million deals, the 10G frontrunner changing how business is done, the future of food, the vertical farm supplier feeding the world, the robotics company partnered with Google and Amazon, Killing Crazy Horse by Bill O'Reilly, the Gone Fishing Portfolio by Alexander Green. And everything you get as part of the Innovation Accelerator Playbook will be sent to you just for taking a 365-day risk-free subscription to Alex's flagship service. Your one-year Communique subscription comes with a suite of benefits, including Alex's favorite innovative news stock in each monthly issue, 24/7, 365 access to the Oxford Trading Portfolio, along with our 3 other model portfolios, password-protected access to the Oxford Communique website, weekly model portfolio updates, Oxford Insight issues 4 times per week, weekly market wake-up call video segments, including commentary from the club's lead strategist, as well as top industry experts, access to the Oxfordian Hotel Collection, where you can receive special discounts on luxurious hotels around the world, VIP invitations to join us in person at conferences held at 5-star venues. Better yet, Alex has also put together a bonus 3-part video training series for anyone who's just getting started with investing. If you've never bought a stock in your life, he'll show you how. If you've never opened a portfolio, he'll show you how. Even if you do have some experience, you're sure to pick up more tricks of the trade from the master himself. Alex's 3-step video series is called 3 Steps to Help Turbocharge Your Portfolio. All told, the total value of the Innovation Accelerator Playbook is $2,004. Now, most people are surprised to discover that a full list price subscription to the Communique, with all of the benefits promised today, is only $249. That's it. A total bargain at that price. But today, Bill and Alex agreed you won't even pay $249. We're making this risk-free trial of the Communique available to you for only $49. That's less than $1 per week. Right now, a button is popping up below that says, "Get my Innovation Accelerator Playbook now." When you see it, click it. You'll be taken to a secure special page where you'll receive this deeply discounted offer. It is the only place you can get everything we've talked about today for just $49. You won't even find this special offer on our website. In fact, there you'd have to pay full price. So clicking that button will be a truly special moment and an incredible opportunity for you. Once you get your package, I think you'll see that your $49 investment could pay off very quickly. Take it from Michelle Camner in Cape Coral, Florida. She listed off 3 stocks that made her 10%, 92%, and 100% in just a half year's time, saying, "Alex has helped me make more than $50,000 in 6 short months, and by doing nothing." And here's a note from Paul Williams in Akron, Ohio, whose testimonial made me say, "Wow, I'm a new investor in the stock market. 4.5 months ago, I saw the Great American Wealth Project with Bill O'Reilly and Alex Green regarding the Oxford Club and decided to give the stock market a try. Though I invested in most of the portfolio, I kept my eye on one stock in particular, Glaukos. Seeing as I have glaucoma, I naturally wanted to see the stock do well. It hasn't disappointed and has pretty much doubled in value. I'm a believer now." Glaukos really is a moonshot. It can be thrilling to root for your favorite stock to succeed. I've got one more to share if you're on the fence at all. Listen to what Jeff Jacobson and his wife Lana wrote. They said they did not invest in the stock market because they thought it was a rigged game for the rich. But they decided to give it a shot by joining the Oxford Club after seeing Bill O'Reilly and Alex Green in the Great American Wealth Project. On December 4th, 2019, we invested a total of $100,000. Since then, 20 stocks are up 100% plus, 2 are up 200% plus, and 3 are up 300% plus. Thanks, Alex, for being that voice of optimism during a crisis when the market crashed. It gave us the confidence to buy back into the market on March 24th of 2020, when you said, it's time to load up again. The timing couldn't have been better. Our portfolio is now at $151,314, a 51.3% gain at the close of 2020, and we give God all the glory for putting the Oxford Club in our lives. Friends, it's time for you to get started following Alex's proven Oxford communique. There's no risk to see Alex's model portfolios and get his expert guidance. When you click, you'll also get Alex Green's ironclad 365-day money-back guarantee with your communique subscription. Alex wants you to be 100% satisfied. And not just satisfied. Rather, you should feel after 1 year like this is one of the greatest decisions you ever made. You're going to want to share your communique experience with loved ones. You might even humbly brag to friends and family about how it's helping you increase your wealth, how it's keeping you out in front of all the great innovative breakthroughs that are happening now. Remember, if for any reason you're not 100% thrilled, you can get a full refund of your subscription fee. No questions asked. You can keep everything else that you've received along the way. We just kindly ask that you send back the hardcover books. To sum it all up, we want you to be swelling with pride and excitement. We want you to make a lot of money, and we're confident you will. All you have to do to get started is to click the button below, Get My Innovation Accelerator Playbook now. Or we have a fantastic concierge team at our company headquarters in Baltimore, Maryland. If you'd like to start your subscription right now by ordering over the phone, simply call them right now at 866-415-8492 or 443-353-4234. We're at your beck and call. Should you have any questions, just give us a call at 866-415-8492 or 443-353-4234, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern Time. We're fully dedicated to making sure your subscription runs smoothly. So right now, you have two choices. Keep doing the same old things with your money and never get ahead in life. Or take us up on this no-brainer offer today and start taking leaps and bounds toward financial freedom. Click that button below to start receiving big, bold profit recommendations like never before. From a proven expert, Alexander Green. On behalf of Alex and Bill O'Reilly, I'm George Rayburn. Go ahead and click that big button now. We look forward to welcoming you as the newest member of the Oxford Club.